Hello, everyone. I wanted to talk about something very, very interesting and important today, and that is achieving goals. I was reviewing a piece of content that was actually done by Mike Israetel. He is a exercise and nutrition kind of scientist and physiology and those kinds of things. And he was applying this specifically to dieting and losing fat, which is a big goal for a lot of people, and the adherence to this. But I thought, oh my goodness, the things that he's talking about are so incredibly applicable to business, and that we really need to relook and reframe how we approach this stuff, because wow, this could be so impactful and powerful. And I want to talk about this idea of motivation, because a lot of times we think, oh, you need to be motivated, you need to be disciplined. Those are the words that get thrown around. Maybe you get inspired to take action in business, and we never really look through what are the stages of that. Where can this be useful? Where can it not be useful? And I wanted to put it in the framework of business specifically. So there are 6 stages. And I will tell you that the final stage, this is not even necessarily a clickbaity thing, but the final stage, number 6, is something I thought I had. And I realized that maybe I don't even have that. Maybe I haven't really achieved that thing. And I'm not even going to make you wait to find out what the stage 6 is. Stage 6 is passion. And I feel that that word gets thrown around. What are you passionate about? And then you have the other side of people who said you have to work really, really hard, and then you just become passionate about the thing. And so this framework really explores that whole thing. But let's start where we need to. There are 6 stages. We're going to start at the very beginning. We're going to generally talk about where is the stage useful, what is it good for, and how do you progress through them to eventually actually achieve your goal in almost an easy fashion. It's for those people where you're like, oh my goodness, why is it easy for everyone else? This is that exact video for you. So, first stage, the very first stage is inspiration, right? Inspiration, it's easy to be adherent with inspiration because we're going, oh my goodness, I'm so inspired. I'm going to make the change. I am inspired. I'm going to start doing social media videos, whatever it is that you're doing for your business. That's it. I'm going to start doing it. Yes. I watched a video of Gary Vee, and now I'm pumped up and I'm going to do it. That's that pumped up feeling. Inspiration is great. It is wonderful to give you that igniting spark, that breath of fresh air, the inspiration part, but it doesn't last very long. And we know that it doesn't last very long, because if it did, all those people that go to those hype up seminars and they would be crazy successful, but they keep on going and going and going, getting hyped up and then not changing anything in their lives. So inspiration is a great way to jumpstart. It is not a sustainable method whatsoever. Sometimes inspiration can wane even just a couple hours after, where you're like, that's right, I told myself I was going to do social media videos, but I don't feel like it. I know I said that 2 hours ago. I'm busy. I don't want to do it. So the second stage that comes in is motivation. Motivation is a little bit longer lasting. It's a little bit more internal a lot of times. There's something that we have a big reason. We have a reason why. That's what motivation is. It's that reason why. It's that maybe you're going, I really want to put out my product and sell it on TikTok Shop. And I am motivated to make this successful because, my kids are starving, or I want to get out of my parents' basement, whatever, whatever spot you're in necessarily. It's the motivation, it's that drive, that fuel, and usually it's a lot more internal. So inspiration usually happens externally, very fleeting spark, and motivation happens more internally, even though it can have external reasons for it. um for it, like, oh my goodness, I feel that I'm broke and my friends are making fun of me for being broke. Okay, I need to make more money and actually create a business. There you go. There's your motivation. The problem with motivation is longer lasting, not infinite, but longer lasting than inspiration, but it doesn't give you a good goal. Motivation gives you a general direction of, this is where I want to head. I want to make more money, but it doesn't really tell you how you're going to be making that money, what it's going to take, what are you willing to do, not willing to do. So it's kind of like gas in a car, where it's going to make you go, but without a steering wheel, you don't know where you're actually going. So the third stage, that steering wheel in that metaphor, is then quite literally the intention. Where are you going? What is the point of this? And that's where you kind of identify that goal. What is it that you're actually doing? Oh, I want to make 10K a month by the end of the year. Okay. That is the intention. The intention is making 10K a month in what specific thing? Because if you just say that, okay, maybe you can do a bunch of illegal stuff and make 10K a month. So the intention is to make social media videos, to sell my product on a specific platform and make 10K a month. Fantastic. Because now with those intentions, you can use the motivation to fuel your intentions to make sure that you're actually doing the things that need to be done. You need to formulate a plan. Intention gives you the plan that you're actually going to formulate. And I think you can see the pitfall of this. This is fantastic and good, and many of us have made plans before. The problems with plans is that they do seem to inevitably fail. We frequently give up on them and we don't want to keep doing because motivation failed. We ran out of gas. So, the fourth stage, as you go through all of these, you started with inspiration, the spark, the ignition of the engine, if you would. You got inspired, motivation, you got that gas in the car, you're going, but you don't know where you're going. Intention is the plan. I've mapped out my route, I know where I'm going. And that brings us to stage 4, discipline. Discipline is phenomenal, but difficult. It takes a while for you to actually get to the point of discipline. And what discipline means is you are going to do the thing you said you were going to do, even though you don't feel like doing it. This is where willpower comes in, and you try to push through the lack of motivation. Your motivation has waned. You still know that your intention is to get to that thing. So now comes in discipline. And discipline is where you are cranking into the willpower. You're pushing the car further than it really maybe wants to go, but you are going to be cranking into it. We cannot live in discipline. This is the kind of issue that I see a lot with like hustle culture and those kinds of things where they're like, you just have to be disciplined, discipline, discipline. We can't live in discipline alone. If we grind too much, we will grind ourselves into oblivion. So there needs to be something a little bit more. There needs to be something more. So, what does discipline really lead us into? And this is the ideal. This is where you don't really need willpower to keep doing the things, and discipline leads you to habit. It leads you to habit. And you already have a bunch of habits. You have many, many habits that you already do, like brushing your teeth or checking your email. You automatically do it. You may not love your habits, by the way. This is the disconnect. It's not that you love doing it, it's that the friction to doing it, it's fine. It's just my habit. Nah, it's just what I do. So you had to still get through the ignition, the inspiration of it, the initial thing, the motivation piece that is fueling the intention of getting there, using discipline, sometimes willpower, to really push through those times where it's tough and you don't feel like doing it to get to habit, to get to the point where the steps that it was going to achieve for your goal, the intention piece, is now becoming habitual. That those steps are becoming habitual. And I want to take a brief little pause from all those stages. Uh, Most of the time, we select a goal that we want to achieve. Let's say I want to make more money. I want to make 10K a month in my business. But we don't acknowledge that that goal in itself has a lot of many smaller goals that you need to do. Because if we're talking about business, so maybe you need to actually deliver the product or service. You need to market the product or service. You need to maybe create the product or service because you don't actually have it. Maybe it needs to evolve. You need to handle customers if they're good or bad. There's so many other things that fall into it, and all of those are other goals that you may need to do, and other things that you may need to go through: inspiration, motivation, intention, discipline, and then it becomes a habit. So if you're feeling like, oh my goodness, I've been doing this for months and it's still not become a habit, consider how many habits are you really needing to form? How many things do you really need to do in order to achieve that big goal? Because we think it's as simple as one, two, three. It's not. There are a lot of layers to all of this. So I know I'm telling you the stages. Those are the stages for that specific thing. So that if you're lacking at any point, you can go, oh, this is why. Before we get to stage 6, let's review the stages and say, hey, if you're lacking in this stage, or if this is how it's feeling, this is what needs to get redone. So if you feel like you just cannot even get started, like you just go like, I don't even see the point. I'm not interested. What, meh. You're lacking inspiration. You're lacking that spark that's going to make you go, I got to do this. Oh, that's exciting. I got to do this. And that may be because what you're doing just sucks. Like you don't want to do it. You're not interested in doing it. There's no reason for it. A lot of people say that they want to make 100K a month, but they don't actually want to make 100K a month. They want to have 100K a month. They want somebody to just give it to them and have it. And that's very, very different. That's a very different goal. So inspiration is going to give you that spark, that motivation. So if you're lacking the initial spark, if you've already been cracking at this and going at this for a while, you're not lacking inspiration. All right. Inspiration got you started. The second piece is motivation. So if you've been going at it for a while and you're just like, what's the point? You're probably lacking motivation. There's probably not a good, valid enough reason why you're doing it. Two questions I love throwing into this is, why are you actually doing the thing that you're doing? And why is it going to work? Because a lot of times we get disheartened that it's not working. And so we start thinking, it's just not going to work. So put in for yourself why it's actually going to work. Make a list, 5, 10, 15 reasons why this thing you're going to do, why it's going to work, it's going to be successful. That's what you come back to a lot of times for inspiration and motivation. But ideally motivation, because motivation lasts longer. Right. Intention. This is the thing where you're going, I want to make 10K a month. That is not an intention. That is a general thing of that you're saying. Your intention needs to be, how are you going to be doing it? What is the goal of how are you actually going to execute this? What are the specific actions you're going to take? What are the frameworks that are working or not working? So if you don't have a plan, a really full detailed plan, you don't have an intention. You don't have a full intention thing. So the motivation, you keep on getting motivation and it goes nowhere because there's no plan for it to follow. Now, if you have the motivation, the drive, you have the intention, but you can't seem to stick to it, that's discipline. That's discipline so that on the days where you don't feel like doing it, you're not using the willpower, the grinding through to push yourself to actually do it. And again, this is not saying we should always be pushing, we should always be grinding. No. Willpower is finite. That discipline stage is also finite. If you stick yourself in there and are just stuck in the discipline stage forever, you will burn out, you will lose it, you will stop doing it all, you will lose all the momentum. The goal of the discipline stage is to get you through those times of where you're like, this is tough. I'm not quite sure what I'm doing. I don't want to do this. Pushing through to the point of where it becomes habit. And so when it becomes habit, this is when you're going, I may not necessarily love doing this, but honestly, this is pretty easy for me. At this point, for me personally, like getting on videos and making social media videos, easy. This is effectively a habit. Sometimes I'm even inspired and passionate, and that makes the habit that much easier because all of a sudden I'm like, I got a great idea for a video. I can't wait to do this. So this brings us to the final stage. The final stage, which I thought I had before, and then when I listened to this, I went, oh my goodness, I don't think I've actually ever had this. The stage is passion. Stage number 6 is passion. So after you have been doing something as a habit and you've been doing it so much and so often that it's not really that much of a barrier for you to be able to achieve it, only after that, after months and months and probably years and years of that, do you truly become passionate about something. And this is very interesting. So to me, passion is when you just sometimes can't even sleep at night because you're thinking about it in an excited way. Now, when you're thinking about it in a worried way, that's very different. But you're thinking about it in an excited way, like, oh, I'm going to try this, and then I'm going to go ahead and try this. If we're talking about making videos, for example, I have like this idea for a video where I'm going to be like interviewing myself back and forth, and then I have this idea for a video where I'm just going to say like all the negatives about something or whatever it might be. You're starting to have these ideas, and you're passionate, and you're excited about it. What most people do is they may get to the habit thing where they're doing that and they mistake inspiration and motivation because by this point you're maybe not getting it quite as much because you're already at the habit stage for passion. That, I got inspired to do a video. Then it's not passion. You got inspired to do a video. You got motivated to do a video by somebody else, but it's not an actual passion. The passion comes after years and years of going after this and really just getting through it all to where you're going, I am consistently, legitimately excited to put in more and more and more and more hours into this because I love the habit. I love the thing. I love the process. This is what everybody keeps telling us that we need to get to And this is what gets so annoying, is that everybody goes like, you got to fall in love with the process, man. You got to grind and fall in love with the process. Those things are valid, but they are talking about stages. You got to love the grind. That's discipline. They're just telling you you need to be disciplined. But discipline is one of the 6 stages. If you just plow into discipline, that's not sustainable. You're going to lose willpower and give up. If people tell you you just have to be passionate about it, that's the end stage. You can't be passionate about it. You're mistaking inspiration for passion. And then when you get a little ways through and your inspiration is gone and your motivation is waning and going down, you're saying, I just don't have the passion anymore. You never did. If you truly had true passion, you couldn't lose it. You could not lose your passion. And most of us do not have passion. The vast, vast, vast majority of us do not have the passion about the thing that we're doing. Because when you truly have that passion, that's when people are becoming obsessive. That's true passion. And that word gets overused. And I am guilty. I have done that a little bit too much as well. And now I'm reframing and rethinking all of this, right? So let's run through all of those again as a quick little summary for you so you can start using this. If you're just now excited and you're going, oh my goodness, I know immediately what goal I'm going to set. Great. You've just been inspired. I'm happy that you got the inspiration, but we need to move you into motivation. We need to ask, why is this going to work? Why are you doing this? Give a bigger reason. And if it can be bigger than you, better. The bigger than you, the better it will be. Because then it's going to give you more fuel. As soon as you have that, you need to do the intention. Because those first 3 steps, their cycle of life is very short. Right? Inspiration, like I said, that can be gone in 15, 20 minutes. So what your intention is the entire plan of this is what I'm going to stick to. And as soon as you have the plan, you are now entering discipline. And those first 4 stages, you're kind of bouncing in between them. Because what's happening is, as long as inspiration and motivation are fueling the intention and you're doing the things, you're good. As soon as they waver and you don't have the gas anymore and the intention is starting to go, you need to bring in discipline to use the willpower to bring it back up and continue with the intention, continue on your right track. Until you are able to get inspiration, motivation back to keep going. And then it wanes, and then you bring in discipline, and then you keep on going back and forth until this balance becomes a habit. It becomes stage 5, where you're going like, it doesn't take as much willpower. When I'm inspired, great. If I'm not inspired, also great. I'm fine at doing this. That balance becomes the habit. And after years and years of the habit, it becomes a passion. That's the framework. That's why likely most of the goals that you've set, you didn't achieve because you were just stuck on doing one of those stages and you never went all the way through. I hope that was helpful. Share this with somebody, like it, subscribe. This is not because I want more followers. This is because this gets to more and more people. I was lucky that I heard this from somebody else and I put this into this framework so that maybe somebody else can hear it and can help them. So that's what you're really doing. When you're liking, subscribing, you're helping other people get this information. And as always, until next time.